Knuckles Comic Issue 29. We start off with a really close-up picture of Sally shouting that she thought someone was her friend. Back up the camera a little there. And then we see Antoine being shouted at for not telling her that he was going on a mission to find her brother that she didn't know she had. Antoine! How can I ever trust you again? I love this so much. This is the definition of karma. First of all, it's beautiful karma against Sally because she just loved to keep secrets from her friends about what she was doing. Like the time she tried a plan to get herself thrown to a roboticizer to steal its blueprints without telling anyone, so that they would think they had to save her. Not to mention she never told Sonic about her old meeting of Knuckles until way later. And then she didn't warn her friends that her king was becoming all control freaky because of X's spirit in them. And now she's getting all indignant because a friend of hers is keeping secrets from her. Well, it's nice to see. Only thing that can make this better is if it was pointed out that she deserves it. And second, I love this because Antoine is being called out on for being disloyal. Something he really deserved early in the comic when he was more of a suck-up jerk who called Sonic a commoner. And especially in the issue 39 to 40 arc, which was all about his treachery. Sadly, he doesn't really deserve this as much anymore because he's become more polite, and even his trademark cowardice is reduced to simple caution. So I really wish this happened earlier. I'm not really with Sally on this one because it's not like he was scheming and plotting against her. She should be yelling at her father. He's the one who made the mission and told everyone to keep quiet to avoid getting her hopes up. And with the way Antoine looks all upset here, I'm actually feeling sorry for him. Although I still love that this is happening. Oh, good. Sally actually does go talk to her father. Also, I'm glad she's back in that brown-walled area in Knotholes Underground. Makes me nostalgic for the earlier issues. I am fully on her side for this one. I don't know where to begin, Father. It's like you've been a stranger to me for so long. Orders that seemed harsh and vindictive, demanding that I marry Antoine, and now learning you've kept my own brother a secret from me? This has been building up in her for a long while, obviously. So it makes sense that she waited this long to tell him off for it. She couldn't stand repressing it anymore. That's something that always fascinated me about her, that she does that. Whatever happened to the loving, caring father I used to know? The king tells her he's still there and just trying to protect everyone. Makes sense since he was probably traumatized from his time in the Zone of Silence, which would give him that kind of keep it from happening to other people complex. The king then says that he could possibly rely on Knuckles as a source of hope, and what looks like a normal animal actually talks to Knuckles, pointing out that he's been spending too much time in the city. Oh, I was hoping the comic would forget about making normal animals talk and leave it behind us. Wait, dingoes party until dawn? Wouldn't they be too busy working lower class jobs just trying to get by, considering the rung they're at in their society? I don't understand where that stereotype would come from. Knuckles complains about having family problems briefly, and the entertaining bird says that there have been some sightings of strange egg-shaped pods flying by, and he thinks it may be the Overlanders. Then we see an airship flying up to what looks like more of a giant sun, as Sally in it complains that she feels awful about doubting her father, being quick to guilt as usual. People complain about chickification with her, but I'm already starting to feel like she's gotten over it, if only because she got so mad at her dad Antoine. I think the core of why I really like her is that she looks like a badass when she's angry. Nicole says that the king's experiences with temporal anomalies in the void would explain his unusual behavior, as well as his old order to dismantle the Robians. Temporal anomalies? She says she knows, and that she thinks the king knew that Eggman would use Robians against people and tried to prevent that, and shows some moral greatness for once by saying that if she knew what the king did, she's not sure she wouldn't have done the same thing. But one, I didn't know the king already knew about Eggman replacing Robotnik. And two, I thought the king only made that order because Ixis possessed them. He even dismissed the order's temporary insanity after Ixis stopped possessing him temporarily to trick him with allusion to the heroes. Was he lying about that? Nicole stays unjudgmental instead of being unhappy with Sally about what she just said, and tells her she has to activate the royal beacon signal in the airship she somehow knows how to fly, allowing those who safeguard the island to distinguish her airship as a friend. We then see Sally land on the island with the approval of the Brotherhood, and immediately shout at Knuckles, "How could you?" Knuckles, after looking hurt, is somehow smooth enough to deflect it with humor, joking around, "Having a bad hair day, Sally?" And she replies, "That isn't funny, Knuckles. How shallow do you think I am?" I couldn't help but smile at that, because that's pretty amusing. Oh, this is when it's finally explained why Sally used to look all pink. She fell into a chemical vat on a mission. I really like how they actually cared enough, had enough passion, to bother explaining that art consistency. Although I'm not sure how she survived that. She says that she didn't complain about what it did to her appearance any more than she complained about all those baths she spent scrubbing the toxins out of her fur. Oh, I thought Sally was yelling at Knuckles for potentially breaking their childhood pact, but it turns out she's yelling at him for her mother being kept on the island for so long. As if he could have possibly known about that. She's just lashing out because she's frustrated and stressed out about her whole mother situation. And I'm loving every second of it. I'd rather Sally have bitch moments again. At least then she's interesting. And she's doing it from high stress, so it's justified. Sally then explains that she's on a mission to see the Brotherhood to enlist their help against Robo-Robotnik. Good thing for her that the Fire Ants convinced them to not be so isolationist in their policies or she wouldn't have a chance. Sally says that her father only tells her what he feels that she should know when she should. And Knuckles relates to it right away. Suddenly, Spectre shows up on the behalf of the Brotherhood. Gee, I wonder if the Brotherhood was spying on her and overheard her plan. I mean, otherwise it would be kinda coincidental that he showed up just now at this particular place. I'm glad this happened because it lets them all warp to the Brotherhood and talk to them right away. I'm not used to seeing Spectre be so nice and warm and friendly. I thought he was a very serious person. But this is nice. I like seeing them all be so respectful of one of the main heroes. Lockman says to Knuckles that he was never meant to be friends with Sally, because her people have tried to peacefully coexist with those who would prey on them, leaving themselves open to attack. Instead of taking whatever means necessary to prevent this, they end up in a constant state of war. Does that mean they would have approved of the Acorn Kingdom dropping a nuke on the humans and killing all of them? Sally explains the Eggman situation and says that Dr. Quack is having difficulty maintaining life support on Queen Acorn all of a sudden, and hopes they'll be able to do something to help. Spectre says there's nothing more that they can do for her and apologizes, saying that they kept her alive through methods compatible with echidna physiology. It makes sense that it would work with her still, because it's not like echidnas are that different from other Mobians. Otherwise, it'd be impossible for echidnas and non-echidnas to breed, being totally different species. Spectre asks if Sally's people are willing to engage Eggman in every means available, even the latest in munitions technology. And when Sally says she can't agree to that for some reason, either because of the king or because she's a self-righteous idiot, her petition is denied. Logically, as the Brotherhood would just be forced to hold back, and that would be really annoying. Knuckles meets up with the Colonel, who treats him like an old friend, complete with Knuckles saying that he had missed his wife's cooking. And he came here to comfort Sally, who was annoyed staring at the sunset, and complains that she hadn't noticed how nice it looked. Well, really the only nice thing is the sky. The sun itself is way too bright to be good to look at. Knuckles tells Sally that he can relate to her. It then says he got through some very lonely days when he was growing up by having her as a friend. Wait, so she kept hanging out with them past that one short conversation and fight? I thought she was only on the island on a trip for a few days. So how could she have just been there on the island to hang out with him when they were kids anytime he wanted? I mean, if they were able to visit Angel Island that much just because Sally wanted, then what? It was implied that they wouldn't be able to do that though, that they barely got to have any vacation at all. Knuckles is talking as if she was a good friend of his that he could share things with and spend long afternoons playing games with, but there was no indication that they ever could have gotten to spend that much time together. I thought he just left after their pack and they didn't see each other much after that, until the Freedom Fighters thing kicked in. Sally complains that maybe Knuckles not changing since they first met is the problem because he didn't join the Freedom Fighters back when they asked him to, and says that she can't be friends with him after that. Where did this come from? And he did change, at least in the sense that he stopped being as hateful and paranoid as Sonic and went from being a loner to the leader of a whole group of friends. Archimedes even said to Julie once that he used to be worse. I feel pretty sorry for Knuckles here, even if the friendship they once had was very confusing and forced. This story was by Ken Penders, and wow, this was way better than the last story, which from the way Knuckles was drawn had me scared. Sure, his eyelids are still skin colored, but other than that, the artwork's back to being top-notch. I love this story because I loved how badass Sally was in it, telling people off, standing up for herself. I guess I just find her a lot more interesting when she's angry or annoyed, especially when it makes sense because of it coming from her bottling up her feelings and not talking about them for a really long time until she's ready to explode because she wants to always seem the calm and level-headed future queen. That's the Sally I like. The kind who has that kind of issues, rather than just being boring. It was interesting how they made use of Sally and Knuckles' old, inexplicable friendship, and how the Brotherhood surprisingly turned her down because her kingdom would be holding back. But still, inexplicable friendship. The comic didn't tell me whether or not Sally extended her vacation Angel Island to a whole summer or something to explain how she could have possibly had that much time to spend with Knuckles. It's not like she could just fly up there whenever. I mean, the king is a very busy person. I understand they have things in common, more than with Sonic and Sally, hilariously enough. But their old friendship shouldn't have even been able to start. It's a miracle they even met. But yeah, I really enjoyed the story. So much that I actually knew that I loved it, rather than not mentioning if I liked it or not from not really knowing, like a lot of stories recently. If I hate a story, I know. But if it's just okay, then that's a different thing. I can't wait to see the next one.